This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And in their trip to Walt Disney World, why not have a friend help you book your trip for you? Picture this. You're looking at the fall, and you heard about the great free dining deals that are out there. I mean, now it's not just September. You can go down in October, November, even parts of December with free dining. But guess what? It's a pain to try to get those ADRs, isn't it? You got to call. They don't have a reservation at this time, so you call back again tomorrow. You try again really early. Why go through all that hassle? The travel agents at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel can do that for you. That's right. They can go through. You give them the list of where you want to eat. They'll make reservations for you. They'll be on there calling every day for you, so you don't have to do that. You can enjoy your time. You can listen to Mouse World Radio, where sit back, relax, have a nice beverage, and count the days down until your next trip while listening to our podcast. It's perfect, isn't it? Sounds good to me, at least. Anyway, give them a try. Visit them online at www.mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes, and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, August 5th, 2009, and this is episode 600 of WDW Today. I am Matt Hotchberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. And Mike, you know, most podcasts might celebrate something special for episode 600, but for us, it's Wednesday.
To me, answering our listener questions is more important than cake and ice cream. And even though I'm wearing this tuxedo right now, I'm still going to answer questions.
You're the man. You know what? You put that tuxedo on one leg at a time, just like the rest of us.
Everybody else.
That's right. Glenn is somewhere in Walt Disney World right now, so joining us on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
I didn't get the memo. I've got a toga on. But anyways, I see they're loading our navigator, R2-D2.
Oh, please. This is child's play.
Muppets.
Muppets. Rex on Star Tours.
Can I just say that I thought that the Togo thing was an actual clip from the I'm trying to think, what could this be?
He stumped me again. Yeah.
Well, it's
Toga.
It's Wednesday, and we're answering listener questions. And our first email is from Aziz Parker. And if the name doesn't strike you as familiar, Newell, it quickly will. He writes, hi, fellas, and picturesque Annette Owens, if she's here today. This is Aziz Parker, the author of the infamous Len Kissed Me email, and I'm also known in smaller circles as the Polynesian parking guy. This is the guy who called into the live show in June. I'm parking at the Polynesian. We got into a huge conversation about it. I got to listen to the live show if you want to get what that's all about.
Good question, though.
Yes, so he writes, I got a question for you. Any of you can take a crack at it, but I think Len is more qualified to answer. Well, Len's not here, but anyway, we'll still answer it for you. I received a PIN code for free dining in December a few weeks ago and promptly changed my reservation to the first week in December since this is the best time to go according to many. Well, lo and behold, a few weeks later, Disney goes and opens free dining to everyone during that time. I'm not happy about this since I wanted the parks to myself, so tell me, am I overreacting? Do you think this offer will significantly increase the population in the parks during this time? Thanks for your help. All right, Scope, I need you to put your Len Testa hat on here. We're used to free dining affecting, end of August, September. So this will be the first year, really, that I can think of that we've had free dining, even in December. So what do you think it's going to do to the first couple weeks in December, Mike?
I don't think it's going to impact it at all, Matt, because I think that because of the economy, I figure that December was going to be would be a lightly traveled month anyways. I think what this may do is it may bring the December numbers back to where they would normally be, but I don't think that it would do that much to make it even more crowded than it has been in the past. That's my take. And regarding free dining, I never noticed the parks being more crowded during those times when I've gone with free dining. I've noticed that there's very few ADRs available at the restaurants, but I don't see it being that much of an impact. Again, the economy is giving Disney a hit, and I should say Disney's taking a hit because of the economy, and they're just trying to bring the numbers back up to where they should be.
That's right. I mean, I think Leno I think he said a couple different times, if free dining would, let's say fill up the whole resort, so it was, crazy crowded like July, like July 4th, Disney would give away free dining all the time. You know what I mean? So that they could do that because they would make money hand over fist. And not that they would do that anyway, but I don't think it's going to be that much of an impact. And I totally agree with what you said, Mike. I think it's a fair assessment. And certainly if you look at Aziz, if you look at Len's crowd calendar, you see that it's not that much off. It's not like you're going to be going, not to be compared with, say, the last 2 weeks of December, where you've got really the crowds coming in with, Christmas and New Year's. So I say go for it. And just make your reservations well in advance. Make sure you get there right at that 90-day mark. I think it'd be okay.
And don't park at the Poly.
That's right. Next email is from Charlotte, who writes, "Hi, Matt, Mike, Matt, I guess Matt's in here twice. Len and the Fabulous Annette. This is Charlotte from London, England, and I'm 8 years old. Firstly, I want to say that I love the show. We're going to the world in August and are staying at the Beach Club Villas and have a couple questions. What activities are there at the Beach Club? We know about Stormalong Bay and the films on the beach, but is there anything else that I and my parents might enjoy?" Activities at the Beach Club.
I know they have the volleyball court.
That's right. They do have a volleyball court over there. One of the things you might want to check out over there is, because obviously the pool is a huge attraction over there. I mean, you're also on the boardwalk area, so certainly lots of boardwalk activities, especially at nighttime. Lots of great activities. Take a little walk around the boardwalk, check out what's going on over there. You have the Surrey bike rentals. So everything that the boardwalk has to offer really is included with the Beach Club, because it's just a real short walk over there, and you can take advantage of those activities. Scopa?
I was going to say they've got a pretty good video parlor over there too. Probably one of the best on the property. If you're into video games,
right?
Like a certain someone on this podcast.
Wait.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's the best one.
They get some pretty good stuff in there. They got this motion thing that you get on. It's like
they got this thing called Pac-Man. Mike, have you seen it?
Pong. They got Pong. Yeah. They got Pong.
It's
Space Invaders.
It's going to change the industry.
Yeah, Scopa just goes to Disney World now to play Space Invaders. Asteroids.
Jerk.
Hey, where's the penny Nickelodeons? I want to play baseball with that wooden bat.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think also, Charlotte, you're staying at the Beach Club, and obviously you're staying there. The location is really why you want to stay there. I mean, the pool is great and everything, but certainly having that unfettered access to Epcot and Hollywood Studios is really, you should take advantage of that more than anything. It's great that you're spending time at the resort. Certainly, I know that a lot of our British listeners go for more than a week, usually around 2 weeks or something like that. So certainly while you're there, take advantage. I mean, what you can do is when you stop into the resort, when you check in or any time really, stop by the front desk and ask them for a sheet of activities. And most of the deluxe resorts especially have a whole sheet of different things that are going on. And they range really in age from things that the kids would enjoy to adults also. I know there's bingo by the pool that they do at the Beach Club, lots of different things. So ask for that sheet of activities. And you know what? You can also ask for the sheet of activities for the other resorts around the area. I mean, you can go stop at the boardwalk and ask for theirs. And, kind of see what's going on over there and go check it out. Charlotte adds, our other question is, we want to watch the shuttle launch at the end of August. Can you suggest a good place to watch it from? It might be a night launch. Somewhere not too far from Walt Disney World and not too busy would be great. Hope you get around to answering this. And once again, love the show.
We saw a launch last December from the boardwalk, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, you want somewhere flat. You don't want to be you don't want buildings in your way.
Yeah. A night launch is going to cause a lot of traffic going towards the Cape.
Yeah, don't even try to go there because people go towards the Cape. It's just a nightmare. You spend an hour getting there, 2 hours getting back for.
Oh, if you're lucky, you'd spend 2 hours. Yeah, 3-4 hours getting
for 45 seconds of enjoyment. I mean, it's just what you can see from Orlando. Fine, you'll be able to see the whole thing. And night launches are really fantastic. We saw it one year. We saw it from Animal Kingdom Lodge, and it was a great view. Just make sure the view you have of the sky is not blocked by buildings. I think, Mike, you're saying from Epcot. Say the boardwalk area. I mean, you might have a good view over there.
Yeah, we saw it right by the dance hall, and we had a fantastic view of the night launch. It was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is something to see. It's a sight to be seen. I saw it from Saratoga Springs one time. It wasn't good because there were a lot of buildings over there that blocked the view, so really didn't get to see the whole thing. So ideally, you'd like to be able to see the horizon and see the shuttle coming from there. But I would say I think oh, you know what might be a really good place? Now that I think about it, would be Fort Wilderness, right on the water over there.
Like Bay Lake?
Yeah, by Bay Lake. There's really nothing going on over there. I mean, there's just trees. So, I mean, that's about as close as, about as level of a plane as you're going to get.
And Charlotte, just keep in mind, a lot of times they postpone the shuttle launches due to weather and other factors. So always keep in mind where you're going to be and keep an eye on the news to see if it's been canceled or postponed to another day.
Next email is from Gary Burt of Minier, Illinois, who writes, hello, Matt, Mike, Len, and possibly Annette. We just got back from our annual week before the Super Bowl trip to the world where we had an
Super Bowl?
Wow.
Well, we're getting better.
Wow.
It's 2009.
Which Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Giants and the Patriots.
Johnny Unitas, huh? Yeah.
We just got back.
Like Joe Namath.
Interesting Phantasmic story. Went to the studios, and it was the only time on our schedule to see Phantasmic. The forecast for the day was high 80s with a 90% chance of rain in the afternoon and evening. Sure enough, as we waited for the block party bash to begin, the showers came and it was canceled. We were amused at all the people who complained to cast members as if their trip was completely ruined. I mean, hey, it's Florida. Weather happens. We spoke with many cast members over the next few hours, with the consensus being that Phantasmic would most certainly be canceled as well. So we toured a few mostly vacant studios as the drizzle continued, assuming Phantasmic was canceled. Then, around 6:50 p.m., there was an announcement made that due to the weather, there would be an encore performance of Phantasmic at 8:15. We assumed that they would delay the 7 p.m. show, but as we walked out of the park, we heard and saw that Phantasmic was beginning. Nevertheless, we were tired after a long day and headed back to Port Orleans Riverside. So, is this a common for Disney to give an encore performance to shows because of the weather? Was it because they were only showing 2 times that week? The park closed at 7 p.m. that night, so how would they have offered it at 8:15? We're just curious, as we had never heard of this before. Well, Gary, I mean, it's certainly an interesting story. I never actually heard of something like that. When they try to show the show, especially Phantasmic, since it's only on a couple nights now, I imagine they try everything, and they try this every night with any show. They always try to get the show on there. They certainly don't want canceling, because all it results in is a lot of unhappy guests, and obviously Disney's all about making their guests happy. So I imagine that, maybe they saw the look of the weather forecast, said, hey, there might be a window for it, so they would try to go for it, certainly if it's going to work. They will try everything to make their shows work, because they know that people are there to see the shows, and certainly I guess they were able to, make something in. They do have some alternate shows for a lot of times in terms of the weather. Like High School Musical, they'll have a thing if it's kind of damp out but not really raining, they'll send the cast out without the float and kind of do meet and greet. For Block Party Bash, they kind of have an abbreviated one for light rain. Same thing they have an abbreviated one for Phantasmic as well. So they kind of have contingency plans, and it really only takes downpours or lightning to cause a full cancellation. But otherwise, the show must go on. Next email is from Nina from Norristown, Pennsylvania. It's just a quick question about the running events at Walt Disney World. I know in addition to the marathon weekend, they also have events throughout the year, like the Tower of Terror Run, Everest Challenges, and others. My brother is a triathlete, and although he's done marathons in the past, he's concentrating solely on triathlon training now. Have you heard any discussion or rumors of Disney having a triathlon event in the future? It'd be a great excuse for my family to take a trip there together. Thanks, and it was great to meet the 4/5 of you at Mousefest. Maybe next time, Len. Scopa, have you heard anything?
They used to have a mini Ironman. I guess you'd call it a triathlon. They had a swim and a bike and a run. Most of it, if not all of it, took place around Fort Wilderness. I believe somebody, I'm not sure about this. I thought there was a problem with the traffic there, and I don't think they have it anymore. I think it's one of those. The problem with having a triathlon is that it takes a long time to do it. Michelle's brother just did the Lake Placid Ironman, and it took him 10 hours to do everything. So I don't think Disney wants to tie up their roads that long. I think that's the issue there. They don't mind tying up certain roads between 6 and noon, but I think a triathlon would just require too much of an impact on the non-participating guests. So I don't think you'll see that.
Next email is from Eric Stapleton, otherwise known as Euracle of Asheville, Ohio. Great say, guys, and or gal. How can you plan out ADRs 180 days out when Disney's only showing the park calendars for 90 days out? I usually plan my first park days, then work the dining around it. I'm booking for a trip for the first week in September 2009 and need that info. So how does that work? P.S. Thanks for covering water parks in episode 518. Super helpful. Well, Eric, I mean, you may or may not know this by now, but you only book now 90 days in advance, which I think is a great idea, a great change rather, because I, like you, Eric, could not figure out how to plan 180 days out. Sometimes I never plan trips quite that far out, but even so, it's hard to know what you want 6 months, from when you're actually going to eat it. So 90 days out at least makes it a little more practical than 180 days out. Some people still argue that it's still too much. Scopa, do you like the 90-day current window, or would you prefer they go back to the 180?
It doesn't matter to me, Matt. I think that one of the things that I like to do when I plan my trips is I like to see which parks are having extra magic hours, and usually it's pretty stable throughout the year. Certain parks on certain days, but sometimes they'll change it, and so I sometimes plan my touring schedule around extra magic hours and which restaurants I want to eat in on that particular day. So maybe 90 days out is a little bit better for that purpose. It really, and other than that, as long as I can eat in the restaurants that I want to eat in, read that Le Cellier, it doesn't matter how far in advance. I'll make an ADR for Le Cellier a year ahead of time if I know I'm going to get it.
Well, the thing is, I'm like Eric too. I mean, when I plan my trips, I plan the days I'm going to be where first, and then the dining around that. But really, it's unfortunate you kind of have to do it reverse. You got to plan your restaurants and kind of plan your days around that. Next email is from Robert and crew, otherwise known as Shannon, Abigail, and Daniel of Middle Tennessee. That's greetings. Greetings, Matt, Mike, Michael, Annette, and others. Love the podcast. I just listened to a few others, but WDW Today is my favorite. Just finished episode 528 and had to laugh. The listener comment near the end about being the ones that are always near the Disney enthusiasts in the crowd was great. We are the family. We are that family and proud of it. We, myself, my wife, and twin children, made our first trip over Christmas 2003 to New Year's 2004 and have gone back every year since, although not during Christmas again. We love it. We're planning to go back in the fall. Whether it's around work or the neighborhood, when the conversation turns to Disney, others advise potential first-timers to have a chat with our family prior to going. It's always great for us to have a family over for dinner and help them plan their first trip, almost as magical as our first trip. Looking forward to the next fantabulous podcast. By the way, the Bristol, where the NASCAR race is held, is Bristol, Tennessee. I've seen a few races there. Great experience. Go if you ever have the chance. I don't remember what episode it was, but we were discussing Bristol, and I think we even thought it was Bristol, Connecticut, but Bristol, Tennessee. So thank you for solving that conundrum. Next email is from Neil of North Littleton, United Kingdom. He writes, hi, I'm Matt, Mike, Michael, Len, and possibly Annette. Of course, I have to say, I'm obliged to say good day, Governor. Now I know you guys aren't the biggest fans of Fantasmic Dining. However, Disney seems to be continuing with only 2 Fantasmic shows per week, Sunday and Thursday. Do you think the dining package might actually offer a significant time saving? Has the introduction of the American Idol helped to dissipate the queues? I have read elsewhere of 2-hour queues. Well, I still don't think it's worth it, Neil. I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. One, generally speaking, now Disney's kind of gotten a little bit smarter, and that is on nights where they have Fantasmic, they double up on them. So there's usually 2 per night. If you look in September, you're going to find probably 1 per night. But generally speaking, they do a decent job. And if they have more than 1 per night, always go for the second one. You can't get the Fantasmic dinner package for the second one anyway. But the second one is really going to be your best bet. If there's only 1, though, I still don't like it. And here's why. Just from the time concern, no other arguments otherwise, Neil. You still have to show up to the Fantasmic package 30 minutes ahead of time. So you still have to be there at least 30 minutes ahead of time. So what's that usually? Well, in real world, you don't just show up for 30 minutes. People, give themselves an extra couple 10 minutes. So let's say 40 minutes. So if you're going to show up at 40 minutes ahead of time, I recommend for most people without the package to show up 45 to 60 minutes ahead of time. So really, it's an extra 10 minutes. You'll get much better seats. So that's why I still recommend going without the package. The introduction of American Idol helped dissipate the queues. Idol's taken up its fair share. It's actually gotten pretty popular. Scope, I remember you shared a couple episodes ago that you had trouble getting into Idol.
Well, yeah, it was the finale. It's really hard to gauge at night as to exactly when you need to queue up for that finale show. I think a lot has to do with whether or not Fantasmic is going on that night, and there's an early show, and people want to they have to make a decision between Fantasmic and Idol. It also makes a difference if there's extra magic hours going on at the park, and there's more people in the park. One night I got into line about it was 20 to 7, and I missed out. I think I was about 50 people too late. The next night I got there about it was 10 minutes earlier than the night before or the previous time, and I was fine. I was in there, no deal, no big deal. So it's really hard to gauge. I'm really hesitant to say to anyone, oh, you need to get there at a certain time for the queue, because you're at the mercy of the crowds and the interest at that particular day. So it's really tough to say. I don't know if it's really cut down on the queues of the other attractions, though.
No, I think it should. No, I don't think it's really made that much of an impact on it. Its capacity isn't enough. It's only it takes about 1,000 people in there, so
right.
That's really not that many people in the grand scheme of things. I still recommend for the finale show about 45 minutes ahead of time to get there if you want to be assured of getting in. And the good news is, I mean, they'll let you in a little bit beforehand to sit down. It's not like you have to stand there for 45 minutes, but it is very popular, especially that last show, like Scopo was saying. Next email is from Becca and Jay from New York. Writes, hello all. My brother and I go to the Food and Wine Festival every year and typically are able to attend in early to mid-October. This year, it's likely that we aren't going to be able to make it until the end of October or beginning of November, either the last week or weekend of the festival. We want to know if the number of countries or food choices, or we wanted to know if the number of countries or food choices or the quality of the food are diminished in any way if you were there at the end of the festival. We always plan our second yearly Walt Disney World trip for the festival specifically, since we have such a great time there and enjoy the food sampling. We want to be sure we get the same food quality even though it's towards the end of the festival. Any insight would be appreciated. I wouldn't worry about it at all. I think if anything, it's, Disney is consistent. If anything, they may have an issue maybe the first week, but if anything, the last weekend, it's just as good as you came 3 weeks earlier, right, Mike?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Yep.
I know. I've never heard anyone complain about that last weekend. Of them kind of like lollygagging it or anything like that. So I think you'll be fine, Becca. Enjoy. Next email is man, a long email. From Sarah from the United Kingdom. G'day, Gavin. Writes, hi guys, I booked visit Walt Disney World December 28th through January 11th. I have to read those backwards. These UK people put the dates first. And as my family enjoy eating at table service restaurants, particularly on holiday, I booked the standard Disney dining plan for the trip. My plan for the credits was this. Use the counter service credit for early breakfast, snack credit mid-morning, supplemented with dry fruit and cereal bars from home, and sit down for early dinner to miss the rush. As my oldest son turns 10 during our stay, he'll be able to get the adult plan, yet my 5-year-old has a small appetite, and at home when we eat out, the boys would share our child's 3-course meal with sides from their dads and my plates. Here's what I'm thinking. Will we really need to redeem 3 adult and 1 child credits at table service meal, especially as I've heard the portions of Walt Disney World are larger than what we usually get in England? Could we order a meal from the child's menu, 3 courses, and get 2 adult meals, entree and dessert, and ask for an extra plate so we can split 4 ways? My husband intends to get a refillable mug, and I only drink tap water, so ordering 3 drinks between us wouldn't be a problem for us. So it sounds like she wants to take the older child and split, get 2 child's meals out of it. Is that what it sounds like to you guys?
I was told there would be no math for this show. Yeah, I don't know if she'll be able to do that.
No, I don't think she'll be able to. I think what they'd be able to do for you, Sarah, is allow your son to order off the kids' menu, but it would still be just 1 table service meal, in which case that'd be a waste of your meals. You shouldn't do that. What they can do, though, is let's say your older son orders off the regular menu. Your younger son orders off the regular, his menu. You can always share food between the two. I mean, there's certainly not an extra plate cost if you want an extra plate, so the older brother could share some of his food. Your other alternative, which you could do, is not get your youngest son the package and just have kind of share the meals between both boys from your older one. I don't know if that's going to be practical for you, because remember, the dining plan only covers your entree, the standard one at least, your entree and the dessert. So as long as you have appetizers or anything like that. So if your kids are really light eaters, that might be feasible, but you gotta have to know that going into it. I'm not sure I would say that'd be the best idea. I'm just giving you an option for it.
I think you made a good point, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, see what you think and go for it. But at least for the younger kid, it's not going to cost you that much more. It's not like you're paying adult prices. Next email is from JD, who writes, "Congrats on the 2nd anniversary of the WDW Today presents the Mike Squared Show. Who would have thought that even the president was a fan, and surprised by everyone by ending his State of the Union address with a shout out to you guys. I know Matt used the excuse of the birth of his twins as a reason for leaving the show, but I still think it was the Le Cellier incident. The on-air chatter was never the same after. Anyway, congrats again, and hope to see you at the next annual Testa Maple Syrup Drink-Off. I still think that it's kind of weird considering he choked to death, chugging one to memorialize him that way." Very nice. I always like those emails that glance into the future.
Well, at least I didn't die in the future.
Newell, prepare yourself. It's our next email is from Kevbot, Kevin Quigley of
Kevbot.
He writes, I, like Newell, am obsessed with Horizons, which is a little disturbing in my case because there are a span of 26 years between my Disney World visits, during which Horizons was built and then torn down. My only exposure has been ride audio and video. It struck me today how many people revere this and other such, quote, lost classics, among them the original Journey to Imagination, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, the Swan Boats, and even Captain EO. For some, I never saw that one either. Most of these classic attractions are focused on the first two parks. That is understandable given their history, but it got to me thinking, what are the new classics? Focusing only on the studios in Animal Kingdom, which attractions have evoked a similar sense of nostalgia and longing since they've gone away. Also, which do you think will stand the test of memory? For example, if something from the two new parks were to go away, which would be remembered as fondly by people as something like Horizons is remembered today? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I don't think you're going to find something that'll affect us like Horizons did out of the two new parks. The closest thing to me in the studios would have been Superstar Television.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to ever be on the same level as Horizons. Horizons is...
No, but that's the closest that you're going to get.
Exactly.
Horizons, they kind of always said that Horizons was a spin-off of the Carousel of Progress, if you want to look at it that way.
Uh-huh.
And that being a classic in itself, I guess that had a little bit of, I don't know, special feelings, in everybody. But
yeah,
I don't know about the two new parks. That's a tough one.
I think one attraction that actually it's the funny thing is it's still there, but it isn't, is the Backlot Tour. That one I think a lot of people still have memories of, like, oh, I remember the Backlot Tour, and I always have to tell them, you don't want to go on it today. Keep your memories intact. Because people remember, I think fondly, I remember, Residential Street and seeing the Golden Girls house and, being there for some taping of something. And I think that one is the only one really at the studios I think would even come close to that kind of level. I think Superstar Television, Mike, as much as we all enjoyed it, I'm not sure that many people, I never hear that many comments about it, like, oh, I really missed that one.
I agree, but out of everything that's gone out of the studios,
yeah,
it's gone for a reason. I mean, Horizons had to close because, number one, it lost its sponsorship.
Right.
And number two, there was, rumor of the construction of the building actually in jeopardy, if you want to believe that. That was, that led to a reason why that closed. Things that closed at the studios closed because either nobody was going to them anymore, or they just changed. I mean, the idea of the studios at first when it opened up was it was a working production center, and that whole idea changed.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Anything? Because I'm trying to think of like Animal Kingdom. I can't. I don't think it's been enough time. It's only been 10, 11 years over there.
Yeah. I think there has to be a certain amount of time that an attraction had been in a theme park in order for it to become a classic. When I think of the studios, I think of a couple of things. I think of Here Come the Muppets. I don't know if either one of you had seen that. That was held in the same building that the Voyage of the Little Mermaid is held. And I can remember seeing Kermit on stage singing "It's Not Easy Being Green," or it was either that or the Rainbow Connection. I forget which one, but that was a really cute attraction. But it wasn't there long enough to be considered a classic. Superstar Television, I kind of feel a little bit like that could be one, as could be Monster Soundstage, but I just don't think that, in order for it to be a classic, I think you got to have double-digit years, which proves that it's loved, it's visited, and it's respected. And I don't think that, I don't think that there's any out there in the studios or, Animal Kingdom. I don't think either one has anything going for it yet. I think that one that has a shot right now is Festival of the Lion King. I think that has a shot.
Okay. Next email is from Mike Fess of Rochester, New York, who's known as CP1999 on the forums.
Hoorah.
He's
Hoorah.
Is the All About the Mouse's other intro guy. He writes, hello, Jay, Silent Bob, the oldest man in the world who does podcasting, the fabulous Annette, and of course, how could we forget the everlasting know-it-all yogurt?
How come Annette is Annette and the rest of us are,
everyone loves Annette.
Caricatures. Everybody else is a caricature.
Yeah, everyone else reveres Annette like she is, some sort of, she's very nice, but,
You gotta stop building her up.
Yeah, seriously. We gotta knock her ego down.
She's gonna have a big head. Yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah. Mike writes, I just booked rooms for the 2010 Marathon weekend. I'll be staying at Pop Century on Friday the 8th and move on to Saratoga Springs for the 9th through the 15th. I'm thinking about going with the deluxe dining plan and wanted your thoughts on it. I was wondering if I go with the plan, would I have to buy 7 days worth of the Disney dining plan, or since I am changing resorts, could I just purchase it for my stay at Saratoga Springs? Since I will be arriving on the 8th, I did not want to miss out on what I already paid for. Now, I did get the DVC discount on the annual pass, and so it would be worth it. I will only be able to travel to the world once that year, and a 6-day park hopper is about $89 cheaper. Would I benefit from the deluxe dining plan and a 6-day park hopper, or would I be better off with the annual pass and the Disney Dining Experience card? And if you're wondering why I'm thinking of the plan in the first place, well, I like the fact that most of my trip minus tips plus the unexpectedly paid for. So in my highest Stewie Griffin voice, you think you can help me? Some questions might be answered. Good, some answers for you, please. Okay. Thanks guys for the great show. It's always entertaining. So the inevitable question, Scopa, should I get the annual pass and the dining experience, or Tables of Wonderland card now, or the tickets and Disney dining plan?
He really has to put these numbers on pieces on paper and has to look at them. Make two columns, and one column go with option 1 and the other column go with option 2. Think about what you would have to spend, what kind of a discount you would have to realize in order to make the annual pass purchase and Tables of Wonderland purchase worthwhile. There's an $80 difference there. So if he thinks he will save $80 well, wait a minute. He's buying an annual pass. He's a DVC member, so he gets $100 off the annual pass, doesn't he?
Yep. Yeah, I still think, Mike, you got to do the math with the dining plan. You always have to do the plan, and this is true for people who are contemplating the free dining in the rest of this year in 2009. Do the math. Do not assume it is a great deal. You have to do the math. You have to look at where you're going to eat, where you can get reservations for. Also, don't do it theoretically. Try to make reservations for your trip and see where you can actually get them. Look at what you're going to be ordering off these menus, and you got to do the math to figure it out, because a lot of times, don't forget, you're paying rack rates for your resort stay. So if you're doing that, it might not be as cheap. And certainly, I think Mike, when he said that he was getting the DVC discount for his annual pass, that kind of tipped me to that side more so than usual with going with that option.
So. Yeah, because what basically he's getting the Tables of Wonderland card for free.
Yep. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Plus, and then some.
Yeah. But again, it's got, if he's got to see as to how he's going to save money and where he's going to be eating, and if he can get into the restaurants that he'd like to get into to really get good discounts from the Tables of Wonderland card.
Absolutely. All right, it's time for our last email of the day, and that means I will pick 3 questions for Mr. Newell to choose from. One will be answered today. The other 2 go back into the email queue to be answered later. Are you ready, Mike?
Let's go.
All right, your options today are Jump in the Mystery Machine, Frunkus, or Pick Me Newell. Newell?
Wait, you have to do Frunkus in the correct tone that it's presented.
I can't. I'm not laughing.
Come on, you have to do it.
I already said it once. It's all you.
It's episode 600. Come on, special day. Come on, I rented this tux for nothing. Come on. Well, I have a feeling that Frunkus is from our friend Jill.
It is.
And I have to go with Frunkus.
Okay. Last email of the day is from Jill from Worcester, Massachusetts. All right, hi, Matt, Mike, Len, and Annette. I was just listening to episode 591, and I heard the annual pass question for extra magic hours. I'm going in September for my first Disney Vacation Club stay. We have annual passes, and I just want to make sure that I will be able to take advantage of extra magic hours since I'm staying on site. Thanks for your help. Yes, if you're staying on, if you have a DVC member staying DVC, you still get into extra magic hours. You're a Disney Resort guest. Any Disney Resort guest gets into extra magic hours. So that will not be a problem at all for you, Jill.
That's correct.
Very good. So enjoy your stay, Jill, and congratulations on getting DVC. All right. Well, that's it for today's show. Don't forget that this episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And you know what? When you're going on your trip later this year, perhaps the free dining plan has caught your eye, and you're saying, maybe we can do it this year. Well, you know what? The travel agents at MEI Mouse Fan Travel can give you their honest opinion on it in terms of what's going to be your better deal for you. They can help you do that math for you. Figure out, you tell them, I want to eat here, here, and here. This is how often we eat. This is what we like. And they can kind of give you an idea. Be like, you know what? Maybe you should just go for for getting an annual pass and get just the resort. Or, yeah, you know what? The dining plan might be a good package for you. They can help you plan all that stuff and more. Why not visit them online at www.mousefantravel.com.
Funkus.
If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the WDW Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, who's in Walt Disney World, Mike Newell, and Mike Scopa, I am Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Frunkus! Sorry.
stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.